How are you today?
I am wonderful, Shawn. So happy to be here.
Oh, thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. Laura, I say the same thing every week. We have millions of fans. So you and I were going to small talk for another 30 seconds or a minute or so, just to give everybody an opportunity to get into this feed here because, it can't all come in at the same time, with a million people. I'm just kidding, by the way. Not that many folks. But, thank you for joining. It was great to catch up with you beforehand and really anxious and excited to hear more about your vision for the NAMMBA visionary program and such. And so yeah, thanks for your time today. You're located on the West Coast, is that right?
No, well, part of the time.
Okay,
Honestly,
must be nice.
I'm in New Jersey at the moment. Okay.
Okay,
But right after, in a couple of weeks, I'll be heading west to, I also have a place in Scottsdale, Arizona. So I actually spend part of the time in the East Coast and part of the time in the West Coast.
right. And I see your Monday motivation and you're doing the tidbit, but you're always outside, and it seems like that you're in Scottsdale.
Not right now. Not at the
Okay,
moment. But it's actually funny, Shawn, that you say that. When I go to Scottsdale, I have many more locations to choose from. So
I see.
I actually have much more fun when I'm out there because it's just, it's you have many more options. Well, I live closer to New York City. So when you live closer to New York City, you don't have as many options. It's a little more of a city life. But
Right.
when you go out to the west, I was like, okay, here's a cactus, or here's
Yeah.
something that looks very southwestern. So it gives me a variety and it gets my mind thinking, okay, where can we film this next one? And that's a good point, Shawn. It's funny that Motivational Monday started when someone asked me to make one video September of 2019. And now 1 year later, I am still every single weekend I make one of those videos. I do film them on the weekend and then they go live on Monday. But
Nice.
consistency, that's the
Yeah.
key.
I was gonna say that there's something to be said about consistency, and that's a main trait or characteristic of successful people, or just anybody in general that's moving the needle. It's all about just doing it and not really thinking about what others are saying about it, how many people are liking or watching it. It's just just getting out there because we always have a tendency to feel like that everything has to be perfect all the time and so scripted and everything. And it's just a matter of like the folks that really want to hear your voice or see you or receive the message are going to do it, or not. They're gonna listen or they're not gonna listen. And so, yeah, I applaud you and anybody that's remains consistent. That's why I do this. Like some Thursdays, I don't maybe don't even have a guest lined up or whatever it might be, and it's like the night before, just something happens, and it won't allow me not to get on this live stream every Thursday. And so we've been pretty consistent with this as well. We started this right around the time that the national pandemic was announced in March, and Laura, haven't missed a week since.
That is awesome. And keep doing it, Shawn. It's very valuable to everyone. So keep at it.
Thank you. So, everyone here that's listening, if you have any comments, questions, I'm monitoring it. So please post them in the comment section. And today we have Laura Brandeo, right? Brandeo, is that how you
You
pronounce
are
it?
correct. Yes,
Okay.
Shawn.
So Laura Brandeo, and she's the president and of AFR, and it's a wholesale lender and correspondent lender too as well that many of us use in the industry. But the reason that we're here today is to largely talk about the NAMMBA, National Association of Minority Mortgage Bankers of America. There's a visionary program that Laura is heading up, and she's all in on it, and a ton of us executives and CEOs are backing the program. And so I won't steal your thunder, in regards to me telling everybody about it. But before we get started, Laura, can you tell us who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into the visionary program.
Absolutely, my pleasure. So I am Laura Brandeo, and I'm the president and the only woman partner of AFR. I actually was the person that started AFR Wholesale, that division, because AFR did exist prior to me. But in 2007, during the subprime crash, I was actually brought on to open up a wholesale division. So at that time, and it's very interesting. Look at what's going on in our industry right now. There's lots of change. There's lots of challenge. There's a pandemic going on. There's, much differences going on. That's a great opportunity. Just like the opportunity that I was given in 2007 when the entire industry was in disarray. At that time, I took it as a great plan to be able to take people that were losing their jobs and bring them on board at my company. So very quickly, within the first year of starting AFR Wholesale, we were doing $100 million a month within a couple of months.
That's
Only
awesome.
one loan program, FHA. That was it. That's all I had. FHA, broker only. So we only did business with brokers. That's why the broker community is something that I'm very passionate about, because that was how I started AFR Wholesale. That's all that I had. And the brokers were always there for me during that time when I first built AFR Wholesale. And that's why, as I've seen that come and change and morph and all the things that have gone on, that's the reason why I'm also very committed to that community, because to this day, that's how I began. So over time, of course, we added correspondent lending. We became a specialized wholesale lender that specializes in things like manufactured housing and renovation and construction to perm. And that's kind of fast forward how we got to where we are today.
Nice. Thank you. That's a great story. I didn't realize that's how you got involved with AFR.
Yeah, that
That's
was
that's
it. I
that's
wasn't originally an owner. I wasn't originally the president of the company. I was brought on board as director of operations to start the division.
nice.
And literally the CEO said to me, Laura, I have no idea if we're going to pull this off, but I will let you run it whatever way you want. You hire who you want. You run it the way you want. If you're successful, congratulations. Oh, I missed one thing. No salary, no benefits, 100% commission during the time of the subprime crash. So
Yeah, that sounds about right.
great opportunity. But if you're successful, you'll do very well. And I did do very well. But the key to that is that I was very young. It was 13 years ago. I had little kids at home and a mortgage and a husband that said, go for it. What's the worst thing that can happen? I know you'll do wonderful. I took the chance. The opportunity was there. And the rest is history.
Awesome, awesome. And so, speaking of opportunities, NAMMBA,
Yes.
why for you? Why NAMMBA?
Okay. So first off, I have to say that Shawn was actually the person that introduced me to Tony Thompson. So I want to thank you for that. So
No
thank you
worries.
so much for that introduction. That was over a year ago or so. So Tony and I connected about a year ago, and I said to him, listen, tell me, why did you start NAMMBA and what is your mission? And he went on to tell me how it all started. And then he told me about this Mission 2025, where it was his mission to see us bringing in new, fresh talent into our industry. And I said, my goodness, Tony, that is so valuable and so important and such a need in our industry. I need to support you. And so, of course, we said, okay, let's become a partner. Let's pull this together. And then the pandemic hits. Okay. So all of a sudden, the conferences that we were going to attend, all that stuff, everything's canceled. Now we're doing virtual, all that. And one day I was on LinkedIn. So yes, people, being on social media gives you lots of wonderful information. Okay. In our industry, you have to watch social media. You can see what's happening. You can get so much information. You can
Yeah.
learn. This is not play. It's part of your work. You
Right.
need
Right.
to do this as part of your business. So one day I saw a post from Megan Heath, which is the director over at NAMMBA. And Megan posted on LinkedIn about the visionary program. I reached out to Tony and I said, what is this visionary program? I don't know about this. And he said, Laura, Mission 2025, we're trying to bring in new talent. I said, I love it. Can I reach out to Megan? He said, yes, of course. Reach out to whoever you like, Laura. Reach out to Megan. And so I scheduled a call with Megan. And I said, Megan, tell me about this. And she showed me something called the Talent Hub. And let me tell you, the original plan for bringing in these recent college graduates and existing college students was NAMMBA was going to have on-site, on-location representatives to where we can, tell the students about coming into the mortgage industry and the real estate industry and the opportunities.
Right.
And then COVID hit. And they couldn't have people on the campuses. So Tony and the NAMMBA team jumped into action and they created this program, this system called the Talent Hub. This is a system I would equate it kind of like a matchmaking system, right? So think of it like LinkedIn, but then you have matchmaking where I'm a lender and I have a need for some new talent to come in to help me. Whether it's a loan officer assistant, or maybe it's a clerical support, maybe it's someone in my accounting team. And you can go in and you can post jobs, and the college students can look for that matchmaking and look for those opportunities.
Right.
You can also mentor students. So maybe students just need assistance on resume writing, or they need assistance on, I'm a little apprehensive about, I'm kind of quiet and I need some help with my communication skills. It could be a wide variety of things. NAMMBA has this system. And when I saw this, I said, wait a minute. NAMMBA has a program, Mission 2025, mapped out. Now they have the technology to mirror and buddy up with the mission. I said, Megan, we need to get this message out because it is our responsibility in the mortgage industry, in the real estate industry, and all of our ancillary industries that tie into that. It is our right and privilege and honor and necessary has to happen. We have to bring young people in.
Right.
If we do not do this, at some point, you're going to have more people leaving the industry just because they're getting older in the next 10, 15 years, and you don't have enough young coming in to become the next leaders and the next group of people moving up along our industry.
Right. And even to get that information,
Yes.
that needs to be passed along, because it's really what I've noticed about the mortgage industry. It's largely on the job training. There's no real manual, trial and error sometimes. So it does come with experience at like sort of starting at the bottom and working your way through it. And so we definitely, before the industry starts to age out, we need to definitely introduce the younger folks to this industry so that they can learn.
Absolutely. And look at it. I mean, number one, most kids in college don't even know how you get into the mortgage industry. They don't even understand, what does that mean to be part of the mortgage industry? What is that? What are the actual jobs? What are the functions? What are the opportunities? Is that a career? Like, they don't know anything. And then our industry is not sexy.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
It's just not something that young people are lining up to say, okay, I know what I
want to be in mortgages, says no one.
That's right. That is right. But by having a system like Talent Hub that gives the opportunity for recent college graduates and in students right now, they have the ability to see we're not a bunch of big bad mortgage people. We're real. We look like them. There's a diverse group of people in there. Being able to say, we're welcoming you. We will bring you in and train you. We will show you. We will give you the path and choices. And this is not limited to just lenders or just originators or just banks or just realtors. You have fintech in there, that supports the mortgage industry. You have appraisal companies. You have MI companies. There's lots of different ancillary industries that all tie into real estate and mortgage. So it's a wide variety of options. So when I saw this, I said, we need to get this message out. This is necessary. And then something else happened, Shawn. Random, very random, I got an email from one of my kids' colleges that he graduated from. And the college was actually reaching out to me because they needed help with local internships. Okay. And he went to school near where our building is at our office. And they said, we need help, the college, the university, we need help because all of the businesses that our kids were going to intern, they took them all away.
Right, right.
So now I'm thinking to myself, not only does the mortgage and real estate industry need the young talent, the universities and colleges don't have internships or co-ops because of COVID.
Right, right.
NAMMBA's visionary program solves both of these problems that are happening.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. That it's just, it gives me chills to hear that because it's been something that I've believed in ever since I became a professional. It's like basically because someone gave me a shot,
Right.
and gave me a really good opportunity and a chance to get into sales with no experience, and they did that based on the fact that I was eager and willing to learn,
That's
right?
right.
And so I never forgot that, and I always want to go back, and lift others up because of the opportunity that I received. And so, like even with us when we started this company, my second hire was an intern,
Oh,
and he's still with me, and he'll be leaving next year, for his career, but um, it'll be 2 years, and he's been with us, and we've learned together, and we've learned a lot. And he came in, and he didn't, he barely knew how to spell mortgage. He knew a little bit about it, but now he knows the products and the programs, and he knows how to have conversations with me. And Laura, as we get busy, and he's in marketing, right? You can't always you can just tell the vision and
yeah.
what you want it to look like, but you don't really have the ability to explain all of the everything granular. So now he can pick up on it. He knows what I mean when I'll say FHA or conventional loan with mortgage insurance, and he understands that just because he's taken the time to research and he's gone through it. He's also understanding and taking the time to understand what it's going to look like in the future for him to purchase a home as well.
Right.
Um, so super important. I think a couple things you mentioned too as well that's very important is the whole diversity piece. Um,
Absolutely.
because this industry, we do need a lot of diversity,
Yeah.
right? And not just from a racial aspect, but just diversity in general, like people from all walks of life that kind of understand what the borrower is going through. Because at the end of the day, there's no mortgage transaction that can occur without the relationship with the homeowner or the buyer, right?
Absolutely.
The client, they control everything. No deal can happen without the customer. And so it's our job and our responsibility to be a good guide to make them the hero in the story, so that they can understand what they're getting themselves into. And so there's been times that I've noticed in the past that someone may not have gotten that guidance that they needed because the other person didn't understand where they're coming from, or there might be certain companies that didn't treat a certain class or a certain type of people the right way, just because of the understanding, right? And it's not always empathy, but a lot of times it's based on understanding. So I think this is very important too as well, and it helps us to broaden the ways that we interact with clients and the way that we deliver mortgages to people, and it gives access to the ability for more people to get mortgages when they can work with folks that they can relate to as well.
And that's exactly it, Shawn. Bottom line, we all know a mortgage is the largest thing you're going to, largest amount of debt you're ever going to get in your life, more than likely. Okay. When you're going through that as a consumer, you do want to relate to the person on the other side.
Yeah.
And we do have to have that diversity because people just naturally feel more comfortable, whether it's how old you are, whether it's where you live, whether it's your ethnicity.
Yep.
That's just human nature.
That's right.
That's just the way it is. And so it's very, and you mentioned about the intern. Okay. Go back to what you said about the intern. The other thing that you realize is that when you have diversity on your team, you can learn so many more things by having different perspectives based upon having different people sitting around that table,
Oh,
right?
yeah. I learned a couple things.
Right.
Social media, I learned a ton
Exactly.
about. And you know what else I learned about efficiency with email? Because this generation, they don't really like email that much, and they don't respond that well. However, if you send a text message,
I was going to say
or if
text.
you're in some sort of a chat,
Yes.
where it's very quick,
Sure.
um, in one to one, it works great. And so it's funny because some folks would be like, I'm trying to get in touch with, my intern's name is Jamar. He's very responsive and he's super professional. And I'm like, well, did you text him? And they're looking at me like, huh? I emailed him. I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm not mad because he didn't respond to your email. Just text him. His
Yeah.
skill set is he returns text messages and he returns chats very well. So yeah, that's a part of the diversity, because
Yeah.
if I would have been, trying to push my views in the way that I felt like things should be done. I mean, there's certain times, obviously, as a leader, you have to do that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're trying to move
Right.
roll the ball. And so if the best way for them to respond is an email or text and that's getting the job done, then I'm okay with it.
That's exactly right. And you have to be open to that based upon the situation. You know what
Right,
I mean? But that's the importance of having that diversity and different perspectives around that table.
right,
That
right. And
part.
he brings his friends in sometimes, and we chat, and I get an opportunity to ask them questions
That's right.
about what they're looking for, because they're going to be future homeowners as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, and so Laura, what's the structure of the visionary program? Like, how can we help?
Yeah.
Because there's a fundraising aspect to it
There
as
is.
well. So
There is.
how can we help get money into this program to help these 50,000 students?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Shawn. So we are currently fundraising as part of the Visionary program. So it's a $995 investment that goes towards us building out the talent hub and getting it out to as many universities and colleges as we can at this moment. So it's really to be able to build out the program to get to as many of them as we can and have that technology solid. It is almost there. It is so impressive to see these college students putting up their LinkedIn information, and asking for help when it comes to mentoring. I mean, nothing gives me joy more than watching this next generation that is literally reaching out saying, I'm here.
Yeah,
Put me in, coach, like I'm ready, but I'm a clean slate. I don't know anything, but I want to learn from you. I
right.
want to grow from you. Do you know what an honor that is? And Shawn, bottom line, our industry is almost in a crisis right now
Yeah,
with a
yeah,
lack of highly trained, skilled operations staff.
that's
We
right.
have an industry right now that literally recruiters are literally infighting to grab people with
We're
the
poaching
highest.
each other.
Yeah, literally, people are having fights, fighting over highly skilled people. That's not the answer. I have the answer. The answer is to look behind us, to the
Right,
generation that needs careers, that are ready, willing, able. All we need to do is pull them off the bench, put them in, give them the skills, and train them the way we want. We get to train them, and let's push them forward because
right,
we
right.
have the answer. Let's not, yeah, it might take a little longer. You're right. It might. Maybe if I overpay someone and give them all kind, we can have the recruiters fighting over each other, or I can invest in my future. The
Right.
people that will potentially be the leaders 15 years from now, that we have the opportunity to mold and have a whole diverse group that we can push forward.
Yeah.
I choose to invest on the Envisionary program to bring that behind me forward and make them the leaders of our future.
Right. No, that's awesome. We talked about that whole sustainability piece before we got started. You know, we want these companies, these programs to outlive us.
Yes.
And so the only way that we're going to do that, like you mentioned, is to get the younger talent in with us. So, Laura, I've been doing these live streams. I don't know, 6 months almost now. Wow, it's been a long time. Didn't realize we were in a pandemic that long, but yeah, almost 6 months. And you know, it's all based on me bringing my network to my network, if that makes any sense. Just introducing as many people as possible, because it would be ashamed if I knew folks like yourself that are, you know, championing these great programs and, you know, having this amount of knowledge and not be able to introduce or share them with the network. So everything that we do here on this live stream is based on relationships, you know, building relationships before you need them. And so, you know, you talked about the introduction to Tony. You know, I met Tony years ago. I think it was probably 2014, 2015 when we met, right around the time when he was launching NAMMBA. And, you know, here we are coming full circle, and you and I are having these conversations, and who knew?
Right.
And, you know, I met you through becoming a new broker,
Yeah.
in the wholesale channel. And so it was a great opportunity to connect you. But again, relationships, build them before they, you know, before you need them. I talk about DNA, you know, why you do what you do. You know, who would you let down if you fail, so to speak, right? And so one of the things like I'm taking away from today is that, you know, the notes that I took, like it's very important to introduce this Mission 2020 to bring this new talent into our industry. That's why we're doing it,
That's right.
right? That's why we're raising the money, to give them an opportunity, but to help our industry,
It's for
because
us.
you're absolutely right. We have longer turn times now,
Yeah.
you know, and, you know, heaven
We
forbid
owe it
someone
to the
gets sick. And,
families. We
yeah,
owe it to the families that are asking us for help. We
that's right.
literally have capped out. Our
Right.
industry has literally capped out in how many families we can help because we don't have enough trained operational staff.
Exactly, exactly. And so the last thing we talk about is having a plan. Like, how are you going to reach your goals and your, you know, your targets, right? And so we have a clear plan on at least how we're going to, you know, help, right? It's a very clear plan on the talent hub, and giving, you know, mentoring and resources to help our industry to be able to help as many families as possible. And so, you know, like I said today, I really appreciate you coming on and speaking with us about this, you know, and again, everyone that's listening, just remember NAMMBA visionary program. You know, and it's targeted for CEOs. We're trying to get 250 CEOs and top executives in the mortgage industry to give $995, so that we can raise this money to carry this program out. So before we go, because I know you're busy, I don't want to take a ton of your time. We generally try to keep about 30 minutes or so, and then after we stop the live, if you can just hang on real quick with me, Laura. But dead or alive, yeah, you got to do it. Everyone has to do it.
All right.
Who would be, and I know there's tons of people that you can mention, and who would be one person that you would like to have like coffee, breakfast, lunch, dinner, or meeting with, dead or alive right now? Who would that person be?
So there's so many people that run through my brain. I mean, it's a very long list, and I guess everybody has their rationale as to who they would pick. But something that I've become like obsessed with during COVID, you know, like it's like certain things like you got into during the pandemic. I absolutely love the Broadway play Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, love Hamilton, love the music, love the, you know, just love it. So I have to tell you that every time I listen to the music or watch it, I think about those founding fathers. And I think about the courage and the mission and the planning and all of that what they went through. And then the other part of this is that with what Alexander Hamilton did, the story of how his wife carried on his legacy.
Right.
So to be honest, I would like to meet her.
Ah, good one. Okay.
Because after he got killed, okay, in a duel, she carried on his mission to not only help with building some of the infrastructure of Washington, D.C. and the monuments, but she set up the first orphanage in New York City because Alexander Hamilton was an orphan. And she carried on his legacy because she believed that she wanted it to continue. And every time I listened to what she did and how she believed that legacy was the most important thing, and that's kind of what we're doing with NAMMBA Visionary Program. It's all about the legacy.
That's awesome. That's great. We haven't heard that one yet. That's why I love asking this question because I get a chance to hear so many stories. And I was wondering where you were going with it because you said the founding fathers. I was like, all right, is she going to list them all?
No. I want the wife.
And then you went to the wife, which makes sense. It's
think about it. This was a woman in the 1700s or in the early 1800s, a woman that had no rights, no nothing. And this woman took action and left a legacy that still exists today.
Wow.
That's who I would like to meet.
That's awesome. Laura, thank you for that. Thank you. So everyone, thanks again. You'll be able to watch the the post screening of this or whatever you want to call it. Anybody can ask questions in there. I'll pop in and answer any as well. But Laura, can people find you on LinkedIn? Is that how we'll find you?
Of course. Happy to connect.
Great. And if anybody's out there, if there's anything that we or I can do to help you in any way during these times, please let us know and we'll do our very best to help. The biggest thing that I would ask everyone is still remain safe. Try to remain as safe as you possibly can and as healthy as you can. And that's, all we can ask for. Feels like things are getting better in general. We lost a lot of people to jobs. Folks are steadily getting back to work, and there's incubations and jobs being created as we speak. And we're talking about this right now. But, those families that are out there that are struggling, if there's something that we can do to help, just let us know. So, Laura, thanks again for your time. I'm going to end this live stream and we'll chat for a quick second afterwards. But, everyone have a great day. Thank you.